Thanks so much. Yeah, Caden, I'm looking forward to hearing you. And Kinley, I'm glad you're here. I know we met earlier this afternoon at the expo, so that'll be awesome to get to hear you sing and work with you a little bit. Uh, as was mentioned, I am Associate Professor of Voice at Friends University. We are located in downtown Wichita, Kansas. Friends has a long, wonderful tradition of vocal music. We are kind of famous for our choir called the Singing Quakers. Friends is a Christian university of Quaker heritage. We have a wonderful program in voice and also a music theater degree. I My background as a performer is actually more in opera, but over the years I have grown to love and teach a great deal of musical theater and kind of specialize in music theater belt technique. So I'm looking forward to hearing some of you this evening. And I think I don't want to spend too much more time talking. I think with just a couple of singers, we'll have plenty of time to visit more or have questions at the end. Caden, if you want to tell us what you'll be singing and go ahead and start, we can, and maybe just say briefly, who you are, where you're at in your studies right now as well, and then we'll get going.
Sure. So my name is Caden Forsberg. I'm in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, right now. I studied. Let's see. I started in music theater like right after high school, and then I found my way into the world of like classical music and sang like sort of like light lyric tenor. Um,
Awesome.
and in the past, like let's say year, yeah, kind of at the beginning of 2020, I sort of started getting in touch with sort of my music theater roots again, and kind of trying to cast the net a little bit wider, looking at like a lot more like crossover repertoire. So like I'm going to the finals of the Lottie Lenya competition this year, which feels really good, and that's kind of like the alley that I'm loving. And so when I was looking at the different universities and classes and saw the word belt in this one, I was like, ooh,
That's
that's
what I want to do. Okay, awesome.
that's so I'm going to sing Lost in the Wilderness from Children of Eden
Fantastic.
because it's very short and we can get right to the belting right away.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
is the audio okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, I'm going to turn on original sound like they said and then just
Yep,
go.
sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. And I'm just going to be using a track through a
Yeah,
speaker
yep,
here.
yep, absolutely.
I never made this world. I didn't even choose it. And I know no one said it was fair. But they had a garden once. They had a chance to choose it. They gave it away, including my share. And now we're lost in the wilderness. Lost crying in the wilderness. And if anybody's watching, boy, they couldn't care less. We're lost in the wilderness. You follow all the rules, you swallow all the stories, and every night you wish on a star. Dreaming your day will come, trusting in allegories, and every morning, boy, look where you are. Lost in the wilderness, lost slowly dying in the wilderness, with no chance of living, boy, until we confess we're lost in the wilderness. Have you ever watched the eagle fly to the sun and wonder how he got to feel so free? If you ever have, you know your journey's begun. Hey, what have we got to lose when already we are lost? Lost in the wilderness, and where we are headed, boy, I couldn't even guess. But off we go without a warning, running as we hit the ground, till our future lies are burning, till our hearts are outward bound. Till one bright and distant morning you may stop and look around, and there in the wilderness
Right. Thank you. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
Um, so tell me, one thing I always like to do when I do a class is tell me how you felt about that performance. Tell me something that you liked and maybe something you'd like to improve on. Maybe something that has been frustrating or that you would like to work on.
Yeah, what did I like? Okay, well, I can start with what I was not as happy with, which is it felt a little bit like ungrounded.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it didn't. I maybe I just a little bit of nerves or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like my fortitude for singing live in front of people is less after the last year
Oh
of.
my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not as I'm not as good at just like here we go. So I would say it felt maybe a little ungrounded like vocally, but at the same time physically, what I think maybe I liked is that I felt fairly relaxed physically. Like I didn't, especially in a song like this where it just sort of keeps going and is like has a decently high tessitura. I find I can like stack, and then my
Yeah.
physicality can start to like lift and get a little frantic.
Yeah.
And I felt like this stayed pretty
Yeah.
chill. So that would be
Absolutely.
my two things.
Cool. Well, fantastic. You have a beautiful instrument.
Thank you.
I I would love to hear you sing some of that classical stuff too. I'm sure I'm sure it's going great. You have such a nice, lovely, free sound, a nice mix. Um, uh, uh, so I hear a lot of wonderful things happening. Um, yeah, I would like to work on see if we can get more of that belt sound, which we
Yeah.
want. And I agree with your assessment. Maybe not feeling grounded. There's quite a bit. Some of those high notes you were flipping into a more mixy place,
Yeah.
and I would like to see. I think if you do a belt correctly, at least what's expected correctly in this piece, um, we want it to feel more even all the way through. So we're not getting quite as much of uh, that mix up there.
Yeah.
But what I love how generally free and easy it is. Like you're not pressing, you're not working too hard. Your top is great. Um, uh, so I think we want to get more of that belt in there. And I would so much rather work that way
Hmm.
than with somebody that is really pressing and trying to get some of that more freedom in there. And part of I think what I'm going to say is you can take or leave it. There are certainly different strategies for music theater and for high belt. How much mix do you want? How much vibrancy do you want? And so part of it is a personal choice. Part of it is what the casting director wants as far as how much of that you want. Um, but let's talk. Let's see if we can work on getting just more of a real belt sound.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so first, I'll just say two things really quickly, and then we can work on it a little bit. Um, to me, there's too much consistent vibrancy in the sound for
Yeah,
this
I find
song.
my
Uh,
default is to like vibrate, and that's
yes,
whatever
which
years of
it,
classical singing.
exactly, and that's me too. You're default into vibrate, vibrate, vibrate all the time. Which, if you're singing classically, that's what you want. Here, to me, when I listened to you sing it, I thought, oh, this sounds like a really good classical singer,
Hmm.
um, singing music theater. So I think you want to think more speech like with the tone, and
Okay.
you might have to just kind of purposely purposely go back to your roots if that's where you started
Yeah.
and just remind yourself, no, I don't need to vibrate that much all the time. And then, like I said, keep that all the way through the end. I find that for classical singers that belt, when I start learning to belt, um, it feels like there's more tension. And I don't necessarily mean more tension here, but you're going to feel a lot more stability in your body,
Yeah.
and more like even the walls of the inside of your mouth are going to feel tighter. Also, in terms of what I talk about resonance strategies a lot. What strategy you want for your resonance? Um, as a classical singer, we're always taught this kind of
Yeah.
rounded right here and space in the back. Some people talk about that as thinking of an inverted megaphone. If you imagine you're more gathered around in the front and space in the back. with a belt, you really want to think just the opposite. Now, this isn't literally what's happening, but well, in one sense it is, but it's an oversimplification, I should say. But you feel like you're not worrying about space in the back, and you got to be much wider right here.
Okay.
So I'd like to see you like literally smile a little more. And all those years you worked on learning not to spread on those high notes, too bad.
Yeah.
You got to do exactly the opposite in terms here of what you've learned to do. So it feels, I think, for a classical singer that's really been ingrained in that classical technique, when you do it right, it feels wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
But that being said, it shouldn't feel tiring or hurt or painful here. It should make it easier. So let's just do a couple of vocalises. Well, you just sing nanny 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 na. Make it a nice brassy nanny na, not nasal. Nanny 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 na.
Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na.
Can you take it further?
Like, in which way?
Nastier, like make it a little nastier.
Nanny nanny na.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And don't let it and keep a little more of that stability in there so that it doesn't vibrate quite so much at the end.
Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na.
Yeah, and hold it a beat or two so you get that sensation, and maybe you can let it vibrate at the last second, but don't let it vibrate right away.
Nanny 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 na. 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 Nanny 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 na.
Let's keep going up a little bit.
Nanny 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 na.
Good. Now you did a lovely classical thing there and went da 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 da, and kind of like got a lovely little loft in there. Don't do that, which is really hard because it's so doggone good. Okay, do it again.
Nanny 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 na.
Yep.
Nanny 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 na.
Right. Exactly. So exactly the opposite of what you do going through the passaggio as a classical singer. I talk about in classical singing kind of, how going through the passaggio, we think kind of that hourglass shape.
Yep.
And round, and then we open at the top. And that allows you to get that nice even sound all the way through. In a belt, and I can tell you easily have your voice is high enough, sits high enough that you can belt this whole thing.
Yeah.
At all. You kind of instead of doing this, you have to kind of go all the way up. Okay. And just keep making it wider and wider as you go up.
Okay.
And it's going to feel kind of nasty. Do it again.
Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na. Nanny 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 na.
Don't feel like you have to take so much weight up. It feels going to feel like you're really calling out. Hey! Actually do that. Go, hey!
Hey!
Yeah, same thing. Nanny, nanny, nanny.
Nanny, 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 na.
And don't do this. You're still trying to get some of that space.
Right.
No space. Do it again.
Nanny, 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 na.
Yes. That feel kind of wrong?
Yeah, just
or just different.
It doesn't hit into that that place. I don't, like bloom or whatever. Right?
Yes.
It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't. And honestly, we don't need that bloom on this. It's what makes it sound operatic. And so, to me, you're kind of taking two opposite resonance strategies towards the top. Either way, that sense of bloom gives you a real sense of freedom. So there's no excess tension down here. In the belt, the higher you go, the more you get in that direction. It gets a really bright sound, but it's also keeping the pressure off here. What's really hard for a classical singer is if you're trying to get that brassy, bright music theater sound and keep the depth and space and
Yeah.
support of the classical sound, that's where it can be really hard on your voice.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel like there's, I mean, I think it often feels to a classical singer like it's all bright and no depth,
Right. Okay.
which is okay. And remember, we often think of, belt is a terrible term in my opinion, because it gives the impression that it's always loud, and it
Yeah.
may be loud, but you have to remember that classical sound that you've become an expert at making is designed to project over an orchestra without a microphone. Belt is a technique that is designed for amplification.
Right.
And so when you get those bright overtones, actually partly what you're doing, have you done any study of acoustics?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So if you think about formants, are you familiar with formants?
Yes.
A little bit. I know it's kind of complicated. So, well, to really simplify it, and maybe for those people watching that don't know, we have certain areas, frequencies in the frequency spectrum of our voice that whatever vowel we're doing get amplified or de-amplified. And so when we sing, we are kind of lining up the vowel and the pitch we're on with one of those frequency regions that kind of amplifies things. And there are, different areas for each pitch and each vowel. And with a belt, you are using, like I said, a different resonance strategy, a different mouth shape. So you're kind of locking on to a higher harmonic, rather than lower harmonics, which is what gives it a brighter sound. It doesn't quite have that depth to it. So you're kind of that really bright call sound. I hesitate to yell, but sometimes it almost feels like you're yelling.
Yeah.
It kind of gets you into that spot. So you're using a different strategy. You're locking onto a different formant, and that makes it easier to sing. So let's start from the beginning. Actually, just say first, I never made this world. Can you just say it kind of like I'm speaking and calling out on stage? Go ahead.
I never made this world. I didn't even choose it. And I know no one said it was fair.
Keep going.
They had a garden once. They had a chance to lose it. They gave it away, including my share.
Keep going.
And now we're lost in the wilderness.
All right. Now, can you
crying in the wilderness?
Good. And now instead of lost, can you sing lost? Say
lost in the wilderness.
Lost in the wilderness. Really smile.
Lost in the wilderness.
There. Yes. Yeah. So let's start singing from the beginning and think. I'm just talking more on pitch with that kind of feeling.
Okay.
And not back here.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, if you feel like you're taking it a little too far for now, great. I'd love to pull it back.
Sure.
If we need to.
Do you want me to just go like a cappella?
Let's start with the music again. Intro short.
Okay. I never made this world. I didn't even choose it.
Even more.
I know no one said it was fair. They had a garden once. They had a chance to lose it. They gave it away, including my share. And now we're lost in the wilderness. Lost crying in the wilderness. And if anybody's watching, boy, they couldn't care less. We're lost in the wilderness.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I loved anyone's watching there. Did that feel different?
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that was much more of a musical theater sound. I actually thought, I think you could actually go back when you sing Lost, you could actually add just a little, so I think you did go a little further than you need to, I think. You could add a little space to that. But yeah, I love that then when you went to the G's, no problem at all. It stayed right in the same place.
Yeah.
And to me, that also captures the character a little bit more, right? Yeah. I mean, so for anybody who doesn't know, who is this?
This is Cain, like as in Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel, right? Yeah. Cain's kind of, he's not he's not a very happy guy right now, right?
Yeah, he takes after his mother, and he really, really wants to leave.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's ticked out. He's ticked off that they're lost. Like, why are we staying here? What are we doing? So I think that also gets, if you that kind of bite and anger of
Yeah.
Cain in it. Let's go to the end, just because I want to make sure we have enough time for Kinley and for questions here. I don't know if you can kind of skip towards the end.
Sure. I mean, I'm also happy to sing it. Like, I know all.
Yeah, why don't you let's do a cappella. I'm trying to think.
Like, there's kind of two big belty moments.
Yes.
One is sort of in that middle on the like "We are lost" going.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I can just sing that straight, like.
Yeah, just sing it a cappella is fine.
Okay. We are lost. So it's the B that, is scary to bring.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think the reason is that you're still applying too much classical technique there, and I think you need to do this for me. Lift your hands straight above your head and hold it like this, and you feel the muscles kind of in your back below your shoulder blades, kind of.
Yep.
To feel yourself anchor a little more.
Okay.
In those muscles when you're holding this,
Yeah.
and keep your body a little little more anchored there, feeling those muscles engage as you're going up. Let's say so keep your hands there, and let's sing the same thing.
We are lost in.
Did that feel a little easier?
It feels so scary because like a bee, like it wants to go into this like it wants to like boom go straight back,
Yeah. The key is I thought that anchoring helped you a little bit, but I think the main thing is to just remember, don't let this happen. You have trained so doggone well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd love to hear you sing. What opera rolls do you do? Do you like?
A little bit of Mozart, actually a lot of Handel. That's like
absolutely.
And Britten.
Yes, I would love to hear you in some of those roles. I'm thinking I want to. Have you done Ferrando?
No, that's a hard.
that's a hard one, but like that's what that's what I want to hear. Or some of those great Handel tenor roles are just perfect for your voice. But you have to turn that off a little bit for this. So remember, the higher you go, the more you got to go in that direction.
Okay.
And so actually yell hey again. Hey!
Hey!
Now that was a little bit not connected to your body. That was hey and not hey. So connect to your body. Again?
Hey!
No, that wasn't connected. Make sure you support it.
Hey!
Yeah, okay, that's getting closer. Now, can you sing the same place again? And just really don't let that happen. When you go to the B, keep it bright and get it even more, believe it or not, more spread.
Okay. We are lost in.
Right. That's getting there. That's not as refined as you want it yet. I think you'll eventually get a little more to that sound too, but that's totally the right the right track. Because you notice you were able to then keep it even all the way through. You didn't feel like you didn't have to go here, because I don't want to hear it in
it still goes like into a different place, but it's not the like back place.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe I'm going the totally wrong direction, but it feels like something like sides of neck, or so there's like like connected to these like back muscles you're talking about, like up through the neck.
Well, maybe you don't want this, but you may feel more stability in the back of your neck.
Yeah.
And all the way down, and that's fine. So you're just the whole body feels more anchored. That can actually help you in the classical singing too, to get that little bit of extra anchoring. So this is good. This is what we don't want. Those strap muscles.
Front. It's
absolutely.
Like, yeah,
and that's fine. That's fine. It just everything feels a little more anchored. Why don't we go to the very end, and then we'll go on to the next singer. even if you just want to do finally will be found, just do that last note.
Okay. Finally we'll be found.
Yeah, I really like that. Especially, well, yeah, it was really great overall. At the beginning, you were kind of being careful and it was a little bit here,
Yeah.
and then you opened it up a little bit. That's where
Yeah.
you want to, I think you can get to that fuller spot a little quicker.
Totally.
And
Okay.
I did, yeah, and I did like how you, yeah, you waited a little bit to vibrate on it.
Yeah, it felt like I mean, you described it perfectly. It felt like I was on the note and I was like, actually, this is going pretty good. So let's just like be there, and then it could, and then it could vibrate. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do it one more time, and then
Okay.
then we'll be done.
Finally, we'll be found.
Good. Sorry, I want to do it one more time. That was so
Yep.
good. Can you do it without doing this? Without
Yeah,
doing this
for
with your
sure.
body? Like you
Yeah.
don't have to do this, but keep your hands down to your side and feel a little more grounded and stable. So
Okay.
it's not this. You're staying really grounded, and I think you can get a little more. Um, well, let's just be a little braver with it. Get a little more. No, let me put it this way. Sorry, I'm thinking here. I just want you to stay more grounded and collected to your body. So I feel
Okay.
like you're doing this really well, but I feel like it's still a little bit disconnected. Like I'm trying to find that loft where I want to hear that, so I'm
Okay.
really grounded and then I'm belting within that. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Finally, we'll be found.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you tell how it got better when you smiled on it? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
I think the like a bit disconnected, let's say maybe like with a tiny like a couple percent more head voice. I
Yeah.
think is sometimes like an attempt to make sure I stay like in tune and I'm not coming in under. Whereas I think
Yeah.
that one I started under, but then kind of
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
top teeth
Yeah,
pulled it
yeah.
up.
I thought, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, because I thought you were right in tune all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, a good high belt. Yeah, I want to see the teeth. And so
Yeah.
you started it was okay, but you were still
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
wonderful classical position.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it feels wrong because we're always taught not to spread.
Yeah.
You're really
Yeah.
going that direction. And so yeah, experiment with this a little bit. Give it time. It's both a different resonance strategy. Also, it's a little bit of muscular coordination.
Yeah.
And so, until you get comfortable with, especially these high belt notes, I mean, you probably do not want to spend a solid hour, belting these notes over and over again
Yeah.
right now. You build up to it a little bit, just like you built up towards your high notes, as a classical singer.
Yeah.
But I think that, but think about that different kind of resonance strategy. And I think you're well on your way. You've got such a great foundation. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is
Thank
super
you.
helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad it helped. Okay. And Kinley, we'll go ahead with you.
Hi.
Hello. So what are you going to sing for us?
I'm gonna sing Stupid with Love from Mean Girls.
Oh, I love this one. Okay.
When I was 5, I fell in love. It didn't last. He ran from me, literally ran from me. And being Kenyan, he ran fast. When I was 10, in love again, this Peace Corps guy. I waited hours inside his tent with flowers, which made him laugh, which made me cry. By 13, I gave up trying. I decided I would be a mathematician. 'cause math is real. I memorized a lot of pi because addition and subtraction and division would never make me feel so stupid with love. Like I didn't get it. I didn't get it somehow. Smart with math, but stupid with love. I want to get it. I didn't get it till now. So thank you, math, for being there to bring me joy. And thank you, math, because now you brought me this cute boy. He's like someone from TV. He's like that guy who gives out roses to those women. His clothes, his grooming, and he's a foot away from me with swoopy hair and shiny eyes that I could swim in. He's live and in the room, and I'm stupid with love. I want to get it. I want to get it, but how? Smart with math, but stupid with love. I want to get it. I didn't get it till now. I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus. Does this guy work out? He must all sweaty at the gym. Could that image be more hot? Let me just enjoy that thought. School was rough, but now it's not. 'Cause now there's him. It's just all so simple. Stupid with love, but I can get it. Watch this girl self-educate. I learned math so I can learn love. You wanna bet it? That I can get it? Just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
All right. Well done. Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you have a great start. And I think you were telling me this afternoon you were a high school junior, right?
Yes.
Finishing your junior year. So tell me one thing you liked about your performance and one thing you'd like to make even better.
Okay. Well, something I just like that song a lot. I
It's
think
fun.
it's really fun to do. And something that could have been better was some of the higher notes. They didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So just working on, is that usually an issue you have, or is it more tonight, or?
Really just depends. Sometimes they're like spot on and sometimes they're just not, they don't quite get there.
Yeah, not quite there. So yeah, and what kind of things have you been working on with your teacher in order to work on those high belt notes these days?
Well, we've been working on, well, tension is a big thing sometimes, and alignment,
Yeah,
because I tend to slouch and it's not good.
you and everybody else, yes.
Yeah. And we've been working on trying to get it more mixy than just me trying to scream it. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's always the challenge is where do you put that? And as a, and this is more of a contemporary piece. So yeah, you probably mixing it a little more is fine. So yeah, let's work and see if we can get those high notes a little better. But yeah, like you've got a great start. You've got a really great music theater sound, and excited to see what happens as you go on. Let's see. I want to hear what happens. And we could go a number of different ways since I've just heard you for a few times right now. I want to hear what happens if we just get your body loosened up a little bit for those high notes. Have you ever, do you know how to throw a Frisbee?
Not very well.
That's okay. You don't have to throw one well, but
Okay.
I don't, we can you do the last, just the last note, just wait. And I want you to, well, and you don't have to really throw a Frisbee. I want you to wind up and step into it and pretend you're throwing a Frisbee right as you're hitting that note. Okay, so go, just wait. So you got to pretend you're throwing that Frisbee the length of a football field and get your whole body involved, all right?
Okay.
All right. No, kind of weird, but we're trying to get your body involved more so you're not standing still and locking. So do you have the pitch there?
Well, I can just pull it up on the company.
Yes, or if you could tell me what pitch it is. Sorry, since I knew we were doing Lost in the Wilderness, I actually have the music in front of me for that, but I don't have Mean Girls in front of me right now.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Just wait.
Good, that was better already. That feel easier?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now what I want you to do is I want you to wind up earlier and feel like you're releasing the Frisbee right on the high note.
Okay.
Because in order to sing those high notes well, we have to prep for them. So you went just wait, and then you threw it. I want just wait. So you got to wind up on the word just, and then feel like it releases right on wait. All right, do it one more time.
Yeah. Just wait.
Absolutely, yes. Was that easier?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded way better too. It was gonna, and then it sounded easy, right? I don't know if it felt easy. Did it feel easy doing that way? Oh, I lost you for a second. Hello? Is anybody else there? Is it me or is it Kinley?
I think it was me. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, good. That's all right. That's okay. It happens. That's the joy of Zoom meetings. So did that feel easier, the high notes when you released like that? Yeah. So just making sure get your whole body in there, and that you're staying grounded with your body underneath you and feeling that release of the air. Because what do we do sometimes, especially if we're a little bit scared of those high notes, we do that and we fall into it. Can we do the bridge? Da, 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 da. I think that's the pitch.
Yeah, I think so. You want it?
That seems high. I'm not sure if I'm right. I think I'm wrong. Fine. I was trying to hear it, but I think there's a key change before then. It seems too high.
Yeah, I think so. I can find it.
But that the end of that bridge section is also a tough spot, right?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. So let's see if we can do that.
I'm astounded and nonplussed. Okay, do you want?
There you go. No, let's just do it a cappella. Now I heard that. So go ahead.
Okay. I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus. Does this guy work out? He must all sweaty at the gym. Could
Good.
not it?
Let's just do that one more time.
Okay.
Yeah. So keep working with your teacher on that. Working on mix and those things right now. Because that, I think, working on continuing developing your head voice and strengthening that part of your voice is really going to help and make the mix more natural. So you were saying your teacher was starting to work with you on classical music this afternoon or doing some. So that will help you. It will definitely help you, especially if you're developing your light register, your light mechanism up there. So keep doing that. Since we have so little time, we're not going to work on that right now. I'm going to trust that. But do you ever sing on lip trills?
Yes.
Can you do that whole thing on a lip trill? Okay. All right, now sing it. Okay, now let's sing that again. And can you sing it? You're still going to belt, but make sure you're using just that much excitement in your air. Okay, go ahead.
I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus. Does this guy work out? He must all sweaty at the gym.
Yeah, I like that. Now, can you let's go back. That made it a little. Did that feel a little easier? At least in the or
Yeah.
about the same. So yeah, that sounded more free to me. Now, can you do a frisbee throw? And remember, wind ups you're releasing on it, both on this note and this note. So da 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 da
Okay.
da 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 da. Here we go.
I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus. Does this guy work out? He must all sweaty at the gym.
Yeah, I like that. That feel easier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want you to do it one more time. And once again, I feel like you're releasing a little late
Okay.
on that frisbee, which also tells me that in terms of getting your body ready to sing those high notes, that your body can be more coordinated.
Okay.
So that you're really feeling that release downward and whoosh with the air right in there. So it's kind of like, well, anything. Do you play any sports? Well, you locked up again. Hopefully she'll be back in a second. Is it?
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I hear you.
The sound went out again, and I.
That's okay. You're all right. I was going to ask, do you play any sports?
No.
That's okay. That's fine. I don't play many sports either. But like if you think about like a lot of sports, like if you're playing baseball or golf or tennis, that you have to like kind of wind up and get your body ready so you're really grounded. You're not going to hit the ball a long way if you don't have a good swing. If you're playing,
Okay.
baseball or golf. So do the same thing. And I want you, even though it's not much time, I want you to anticipate more so that you're really in tempo, releasing that frisbee right on the beat. Okay, let's do it one more time.
I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus.
Now do that. So, okay, that's better. Can you, you should be winding up getting your body ready at the end of the first phrase.
Okay.
So you let it all be fluid. Okay, one more time.
I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus. Does this guy work out? He must all sweaty at the gym.
All right, now let's go back and do it. I like that. Now see if you can stand still and feel that sense of movement with the breath.
I'm astounded and nonplussed. I am filled with calculus. Does this guy work out? He must all sweaty at the gym.
Awesome, very good. Yeah, did that feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So keep working in that direction. Like I said, I also, like your teacher, would like to eventually get a little more mix in there. Although that's a matter of opinion. There are some people, in the Broadway world that really want that brassy belt sound that you were getting there all the way through. But I think that'll help make it even easier. But what I did like is that by doing that, you were able to keep an even sound all the way through, all the top, and it didn't sound like there was excess tension or anything. Did it feel that way to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the direction what we want to go. And I would say to those of you who are classical singers out there, that might sound to people that are trained in classical singing like a little muscular. But I think, I always try as a teacher to listen to the students. If the student says, oh, that didn't feel good, I feel tension, or that felt free and was not tiring, I really think that's an important part. One thing I've learned as a teacher is that we can't always completely trust our ears. We have to hear what the student's saying about how it feels to them, because their sensations are some of the best input we can get. But that idea of of keeping it even, getting that nice even belt sound all the way through the top is really what we want in this. And obviously those high belt is then you start to get that mixed belt up there is one of the most challenging things in musical theater, and partly is important for this more contemporary stuff. Well, I want to make sure we're almost out of time. We have time for any questions or discussion. So thank you so much, Kinley. That was great. And yeah, any questions or that any of you have about what we worked on with these two singers?
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or to unmute yourself and ask. It can be about belting, about musical theater in general, or about Friends University if you'd like to learn anything more. And while we're giving them a few minutes to just to add some questions in, could you just talk a little bit more about the program at Friends University? I know you started. Is it undergraduate only, undergrad and grad? What is the setup like?
Yes, Friends is undergraduate only. So we are a small liberal arts college. We are a Christian university with a background in Quaker heritage. Sorry, I just saw the question there and I lost my train of thought. We have degrees we have a bachelor's of music in voice performance, a BA in voice, which gives you a little bit more flexibility. We also have a great jazz program. So we have a couple of vocal jazz majors, and we have a music theater program of which we just launched a new iteration a couple of years ago. We'd had music theater before, but we have a brand new major that is a real triple threat program. So their students take 2 dance classes every semester. They'll take theater every semester, voice every semester. So really trying to get our students prepared for the marketplace. We have 2 big choirs with about 60 to 80 voices each. We usually have about 80 students taking voice lessons. And right now, between music theater and voice performance and music head, we have about 40 voice majors. We have 5 voice teachers, and long tradition, a great program. We go to the Nats competition every year, and each of the last 5 years, Friends has had more finalists than any other private school in our 4-state region. So some of the giant schools sometimes get more than us, but we're the top. I like to say we're the top school for voice at least in our 4-state region. And of course, being in Kansas, tuition and housing are a lot more inexpensive than some of the places on the coast. So I think we can give you a great education without breaking the bank. Okay, so I see some questions here.
Yes, but before the questions, in case any
Yes.
students were wondering, could you clarify? I know you said you offer both a vocal performance degree and music theater. So could you talk about how those are a little different?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. So the vocal performance degree is obviously heavy on music. Students will have the full, more traditional curriculum. Weekly voice lessons, studio classes, theory, history. They do a junior and senior recital. We also do productions every semester. And I have also just launched, we were going to go each of the last 2 summers, but we are delaying our first summer till next summer, a summer program called Opera Seme in Arezzo, Italy, which will be for our voice performance majors, and will incorporate, we'll be doing a full production each summer, and students will take Italian, which they can use for one of their gen eds. And then music theater, as I said, there's less in terms of the music curriculum, but they will be doing a lot of theater and a lot of dance classes. So it's a real, like I said, a real triple threat degree. And obviously we work more on the different technique, but I'd say for myself and our other teachers, we also, with all our students, do a variety of styles. So I think I'm a firm believer in cross training that help our students perform in a wide variety of styles. And I think that helps strengthen them in whatever direction they go, whether they're focused more on music theater or in classical singing.
All right. So I know you see some of the questions. So the first
Yes.
one was from, I think, was asking, is the fact that Caden is leaning to the left with his head keeping him from freeing up his belt?
That is a great question. I probably. I mean, I think anytime alignment is always going to help with everything. Um, I'd have to go back and watch again and watch that more carefully, but uh, I'd say it could be like we were talking about, just feeling a little more anchored. I think could help with the belt a little bit. So I'd say probably. Um,
What
what
are
are some?
some
Yeah,
tips
go
or
ahead.
exercises? What are some tips or exercises you would recommend to classical singers who are interested in musical theater singing? Also, what are some good recommendation for repertoire?
Right. Uh, well, I did one of the ones that I like to do, which that that so you really get that kind of overly bright uh, forward sound. Kind of anything that works to to kind of uh, helps you to get that wider feeling, that more forward tongue. The tongue is more forward typically in music theater. Um, so that can help. Another one I like is to sing the phrase "I'm going to have a good time" in an arpeggio. So it goes, let's see, I'm gonna have a good time, and then you get that a vowel on the high note, which is a good exercise for finding mixed belt. I'm gonna have a good time. Um, some of those things like that. Um, um, Often, like just like I did with Caden, calling out on a saying "Hey," or else even talking on pitch, kind of like that in the speech type of singing. Um, those are just some real quick things that I do, and some tips, um, or even finding kind of a singing on an e, kind of finding that more forward. I kind of use the word nasty a lot for this. Repertoire suggestions. Boy, it's that's such a wide question. As a classical singer, there's so much musical theater rep, especially a lot of the golden age things that you can almost use your classical technique for that work great for you without having to go uh, uh, to a full belt. So, like Caden, if you want to do, doing some, uh, Rogers and Hammerstein and some of the golden age stuff, you don't have to change as much as you do in Lost in the Wilderness. So maybe working up to it, and also like for a singer, especially maybe for women, if you're used to singing classically, don't try, and you're wanting to really work on a real belt. Um, don't try too much too fast. Um, so like don't excuse me, my dog just barked. I mean, don't try to sing defying gravity, even though you may have those great high notes as a classical singer. You can't approach it in the same way. So do something that doesn't go up too high, in fact, or you can even take something down a step or two. I often think of, if you're doing a heavy belt, the C above middle C is about as hard as the high C above, clear high C, for a classical singer, if it's that full belt. So you want to work up to it, and maybe you want to take something down an octave. Say if you want to do "I Dreamed a Dream" from Les Mis, take it down two steps until you can belt it evenly all the way through, and then take it up a step so you can do that, and things like that. So those are just a couple of brief suggestions. I know we had at least one more
Yeah, the last
question.
question
Oh,
was from Caden actually. He was saying that we didn't touch on tongue position. Do you think it's the same in opera and musical theater belting?
no, yeah, yeah, we didn't. I was talking more about mouth shape, but certainly, yeah, the tongue you want to keep a little more forward. So like that's why I do more towards A and E vowels. Um, and I'll often have my students on those high belt notes modify towards a bright spread A. And so the tongue in general, especially for the back vowels, tends to be a little more forward, and that helps to raise those formant frequencies and get you a slightly brighter sound on the top and keep that even sound. So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Schloneger. If ever anyone wanted to reach out to you to learn more about Friends, maybe do a sample lesson or anything, could you provide your email in the chat?
yes, I will put that in the chat, and you can feel free to contact me. Okay. Or I know that on the classical singer website or the convention website, um, you have the information, or you can just go to friends.edu at any time. But um, there is my email address, and I'll even put my phone number on here too.
All
If
right.
you want to call me at any time. So thank you so much. Thank you to both of the singers. You're both fantastic.
Yes.
Thanks to those of you listening, and have a great remainder of the convention.
Absolutely. I hope everyone has enjoyed this class so far. We have one more class session left tonight, and then we are finished with our expo. But we do have our convention in May, and that will be a lot of our professional guest artists who will be coming in. Some schools that we're going to present in the expo will be appearing in the convention as well, and other programs that you could be a part of. So make sure that you sign up and register for that. And I hope that you guys have a great night. All right, I'll see you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.